I was a young boy, my parents were killed in an alleyway, and I was bitten by a radioactive Throwbot. Now I fight crime in the rural streets of Idaho. Who am I, you might ask? I am Slizer Man! And my powers? Throwing this theme in the trash. Hello everyone, and welcome to our Retired Review. Today we're taking a look at every set released for the Slizers theme. The theme started in 1999 with 8 sets, and ended in 2000 with another 4, resulting in a total of 12 sets released, retailing for roughly $95 total. Alright, we're finally here. After delay and delay and delay, we have made it to the end. This is Throwbots. Of course, also known as Slizers. So a lot of people have asked in the comments over the last, couple of months, why do I keep on saying Slizers, but then call them by their American names? Because this theme actually does have quite a few differences between its American release and its European release. And I'll get into that in a moment, but first I want to go over the story of Slizers. This theme is interesting because it is a construction theme, of course. It's the first construction theme, but it is also one of the first story-driven themes. Now, there are other story-driven themes, don't get me wrong, but this is certainly one of the earlier ones. So let's go ahead and go over the little that we know. The story takes place on planet Slizer, which apparently is located 4,000 light years from Earth, and of course it's divided into 7 elemental zones. The Throwbots in question are divided into 2 teams. You have the good Slizers, which would be the Fire Slizer, the Water Slizer, the City Slizer, and Ice Slizer. And then you have the evil Slizers, which would of course be Jet, Amazon, Granite, and Electro. Now these Slizers are apparently looking for power sources that give them an edge in combat, and they have arenas where they throw discs, apparently through hoops or what have you, to score points. But of course they also fight each other as well. Eventually, something really shakes up the entire theme. Everything's all hunky-dory until a meteor crashes into the planet and kills just friggin' a ton of people. Many Slizers die in this explosion. From the fragments of these dead Slizers, 4 mutant Slizers come into being. And they are, well, you know how I feel about them. However, they exist. And that's really about it. That's about the most I know for the story regarding Slizers. I don't know a whole heck of a lot else. I'm sure there's a little bit more, but that's the gist of it. So as you can see, it's not a super well fleshed out theme. It's reasonably bare bones because it didn't really have long to last. The things we see in this theme are experimental, and that's a really good word for it, experimental, because we see a lot of the things in this theme in later themes, such as BIONICLE, even early Hero Factory, and even other Technic themes, very minor ones of course, or in just normal Technic sets. See, this was the playground, the testing base for a lot of the techniques that we would end up seeing. A lot of the pieces that would be used in the early years of BIONICLE. I mean, heck, even the Throwbot arm, the one that I really don't like, does get adapted into a piece in 2001 for the BIONICLE theme, for some of the most iconic sets of the theme. Unfortunately, what that means is if I look at Slizers through the eyes of someone like myself, who is a BIONICLE fan first and foremost, and try to judge it through that lens, they don't come out very well. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how it's gonna be. I'm not a big fan of this theme. I'm really not. Some of that is because I really have gotten used to the BIONICLE standard of quality. I'm not as thrilled about all the unusual intricacies of these sets. A lot of them are really awkward. A lot of them have aspects to them I wish were polished. They're very unpolished in a lot of different ways. But I'm used to BIONICLE having had the time to polish itself and to have become what I know it to be. Another part of my dislike for them is this review series got very difficult to do. It unfortunately is ending at a really bad time where I'm doing a bunch of other stuff alongside it. And so the delays and working out a bunch of technical issues and so on and so forth, not being equipped to deal with the fact that a lot of these sets are incomplete, even though I was under the impression that they were complete, it was immensely frustrating. And as such, this has taken a great toll on my enjoyment of doing retired reviews, but I'll get onto that in a second as well. So onto the names. A lot of people asked, well, why do you call them certain names? In Europe, they were released under the theme Slizers, and they were all called basically their elements. Fire, jungle, judge, ice. In any case, it was more elemental instead of the names I have been using. In the United States, they were called Throwbots and released under very different names, which you've obviously seen me use, such as Torch, Amazon, Ski, and so forth. The reason for that is twofold. First, this is the combination that Brickset has been using, and that is where I am getting most of my info for the sets themselves. Part counts, prices at time of release, and so forth. The other reason is I think Slizer is a really cool thing to call this theme. I'm not big on Throwbots, and that's just kind of a Bionicleism. I like the more technical, cool-sounding name than I do the more blatantly descriptive one. Additionally, I do not like their European names. I don't think that they're really good at all. That's just a personal preference. To anyone that thinks that they're good, that's fine. But I don't like calling the ice guy Ice, or City, or so on and so forth. I'm not big on those names. I much prefer what I'm accustomed to, of course. It all boils down to personal preference, and really that's why I've been using these so interchangeably. I like Slizer, and I like their American names. And that's the combination I've chosen to go with. As far as the individual waves are concerned, I much prefer the first one, the one released in 1999, than I do the one released in 2000. The 1999 sets are actually very colorful, they're very vibrant, and there's a lot of personality to them. I understand why people like these. I'm not trying to say that they're absolutely horrible or anything. I think that they are mostly passable if you consider what the limitations were at the time. I got a comment asking, well, are you ever going to look at these sets through the eyes of somebody that grew up with them before Bionicle existed? And I said I'd do my best, and to be honest, I don't think that's a good idea for me to do. I don't think I should be doing that, because it's disingenuous. I didn't grow up with these. I wasn't a fan of these. I didn't even know these existed when they came out. To me, there is nothing else before Bionicle, because I got into that first and foremost. And so to try and be like, well, this is what it's like through the lens of someone in 1999, I feel would be a half-measured attempt at trying to give you something that I just shouldn't be trying to. If anyone was a fan of these when they came out, post in the comments. Let me know what you thought about them then. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do that because what am I going to say? Oh, wow, this is fantastic. I really hope that this gets improved in the future. I know it gets improved in the future. The review I would give you guys would be a verbal prequel to Bionicle reviews. I already know what happens, so there's no reason in me saying it. I've decided I'll look at them through the lens of myself, of someone who is a fan of Bionicle, first and foremost, and has grown up with that theme. And compared to Bionicle, I really am not big on these. They're very unique, most certainly, but a lot of them are so awkward. Specifically the ones from 2000. I feel like there was a substantial downgrade from 1999 to 2000. Flare and Spark are just so uninteresting. Flare, by all means, I really do not like. I don't know what it is necessarily, but just dealing with that set that has otherwise been unoffensive to me, just really, I'm not a fan at all. And Spark, of course, is just really boring. I feel like nothing unique happened with that set. The two Titans are interesting. I definitely prefer Blaster to Millennium. They tried new things, and I appreciate the effort, but at the end of the day, it's not like I'm going to choose any of these over any Bionicle ever. All in all, I think the Slizers are an interesting slice of the LEGO Group's history. They're very interesting to look at, not only from the perspective of a pre-BIONICLE story theme, but also as the first construction theme. I think for what they were trying to do, which was build the blocks that would create the construction platform, they achieved it. I think they did a good job in showing you can make characters, you can make creatures, you can do all sorts of fantastical things with balls and sockets. And I think that is what this theme has done well. It has created a cast of characters that are all, at least in some way, unique. And I like that. I appreciate it for what that is. It also showed us you can have form and function in a set. You can have them move and pose in certain ways, but you can also have a gear function intermixed with the set. These would of course create the building blocks, the platform for the Toamata, and many other sets, all the way even through 2016. We still see the influences of what these set up all the way in the current day. At the end of it all, I appreciate the Slizers for what they did, for their place in the past. However, I'm not exactly eager to bring them out back from the past. I don't think anyone's pining for a Slizers reboot or to bring these sets back in any meaningful capacity. I don't think they had enough staying power, unfortunately. Obviously enough, that staying power went on to be BIONICLE. However, it's neat, it's quaint, but I think I'm done with it. I appreciate having the opportunity to look at these and get to see them all in one place, and really get to see each and every one, but now I've had my fill. I'm done with the Slizers. Tell me all what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you are a fan of Slizers. I would love to see what you think about not only these reviews, but the theme in general. Now, let's talk briefly about the retired reviews. Long story short, I am retiring the retired reviews. Unfortunately, dealing with the Slizers, and not realizing a lot of them had either missing pieces or were built incorrectly, put a great toll on me. And I was constantly up against the timetable of trying to get these reviews out on time, and just was not happening. Issue after issue after issue arose trying to make these videos, and I tried desperately. But my unfamiliarity with all the sets, and my struggles to balance time and try and get these done in a certain time frame, just really worked against me. They needed more time in the oven, and it's just time I didn't allot them. Unfortunately, that has taken a really substantial toll on me, and it really burnt me out on doing retired reviews. I'm gonna need to give it a long time before I can even begin to consider doing another theme again, because I want to. I really, really do want to. I had a whole list of old themes that I wanted to go over in their entirety. And so, I'm not saying that I'm canceling this for good, but I am saying it is getting shelved for now. I will do more, hopefully, in the future, when there is absolutely no timetable. So as far as when these will come back, if ever, I can't tell you. But for now, I'm putting them on the shelf, and these reviews are retired. And that's about it. I'm going to do one more, and those will be over the combo and alternate models for the Slizers. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be right up next. Hopefully you all enjoy that, and I do hope that despite all the struggles and the trials and the delays that you enjoyed these reviews. Thank you all so very much for watching. Leave all of your thoughts in the comments below or over on the TTV message boards at board.ttvchannel.com, and I'll see you all another time. Once again, thank you all so very much for watching, and farewell.